Hello and welcome to yet another cast. For you today I have another 5v5 played on Noxus Mapgen, and of course custom because we don't have Team Matchmaker 5v5. And yeah, we have Team 1 up on top, Team 2 down south, usual stuff. And let's introduce the players. For the, well, the summer slot aspect, or I guess, on the northern team we have Modulal, something like that, in orange and going Aeon, opening first land. Then to the north of that, in dark blue, going UAF and also opening first land, we have Cement, who, if I am correctly, was in the last Rainbow Cup tournament. Though I can't remember how their team plays, so not gonna make any comments on that. Then to the west of that, in red and going UEF, also opening first land, we have Citrus. To the south of that, in the Regal purple, going Aeon and opening first land as well, we have Colonel Quabi. And last player of the northern team, to the south of that, in burgundy red, going Seraphim and opening first land, we have Lemart. Lemart? I think it might be Lemart. Might be the Lemarts. I don't know. I'm gonna pretend it's French and pronounce it Lemart. Now, for the southern team, on their westernmost slot, we have E2118 Freedom, or how I'm going to refer to them, just Freedom. Going Seraphim and opening first land in this greenish gray. Very dark color. Then to the southeast of that, yes, we have Sanaman in white going for Cypern, opening first land. To the north of that, in Cyan, going UF and opening first land, we have Dusky. And to the north of that, in this pink, going Seraphim and opening first land, we have Wakathor. And last but not least, in this slightly dark green, going Cypher and opening first land, we have Hyper. Right, that's pen inductions out of the way. Let's take a short look at reclaim numbers on the map and if that actually open. 50k reclaim, so a lot of reclaim to go around. We do have these big clumps of reclaim right here. Those are going to be really juicy to collect. And that will, well, those will definitely get some nice and quick T2 maxes for the players if they pick that up quite early on. Other than that, few plateaus, the stuff you'd usually expect to see on the Mapgen, of course. Next on plateaus, some reclaim spread around the plateaus and cliffs. But yeah, the big important thing that you don't see that often are the large clumps of reclaim that aren't connected to plateaus. Now, bot map size, 20k base, zoomed in a bit, so probably 50k. Just like last game that I casted. That should have gone up on Monday, I think. This should go up on Wednesday. If it doesn't, scream at me in the comments, then I messed up. If that timeline doesn't align, then yeah, I did a big mess up. It does happen occasionally. Saying that, no, it doesn't. At least not to me. It didn't happen to me yet, at least, but yeah, it could happen. Now we have a few drops out. One drop out from Freedom to get this plateau, and looking at that, yeah, fair enough, that's a bunch of reclaim. Another drop out by Salaman to get the reclaim in this area. Also, fair enough, that is a really juicy reclaim count. However, Lemart, very aggressive with that commander, not picking up any reclaim and pushing straight into the ACU of Freedom and denying this reclaim right here. Now, rating-wise, what we should expect, the two highest rated players in this lobby are on almost mirrored slots. They are mirrored flanks at least. Freedom being on the western flank while Cement is on the eastern one. In each case, there are two players against one, and the one player is actually on the lower rated side compared to their opponents. The one player is balanced around the rating of the other player that is supporting the high rated players. So for Freedom, that player would of course be Cinnamon. For Cement, that would be Modulal. And yes, we're looking at 16 and 1500 players respectively. Doing this stuff. Now, PD thrown up by Freedom. They did lose their reclaim entries, I think. And still have to deal with that AC right here reclaiming their units. Not their units, their reclaim field. Which is going to be very annoying. Salman not pushing out early, meaning that in the early stages Freedom was on their own against Limart, though a commander 1v1 isn't that hard to deal with. But another drop coming in, this time for Piper. And also drop coming out from Freedom to grab these maxes. But bunch of reclaim being collected, as you would expect. Still a bunch of reclaim left in the area, for example here, or here. But I'm sure that will be picked up very soon. And interesting to see flares being still being built by Modular, even though there are proper T190 units already on the field, making labs very much obsolete, unless, well, okay, well, never mind, they do get run-bys, meaning that they do pick up a few NGs, but end up dying to a singular bomb from this bomber. Gun speed going out for the Colonel. And any other gun upgrades? No. This game we are very light on gun upgrades by the looks of it. But a few units now tangling in the south for Freedom and not and Limart. In the north, in the meantime, Wakafa and Modulal tangling with the ACUs. Modulal also having those Auroras in the back, which are just slowly staying behind a bit, using the superior range to their advantage, and getting off the occasional shot. But forcing Wakafa back for now. Now, some slight aggression in the middle between Dusky and the Colonel, but not too much. Dusky using that ACU to just deal with these land units. And, okay, doesn't have the gun upgrade, but those are just Aeon units, meaning that they will go down to 2 shots from that ACU. From that ACU cannon. Due to their relatively low HP pool. However, that ACU does still go down into the red at just about 2k HP. Now, gun started for Wakafa. Gun range going up for the Colonel. Gun now also going up for Freedom. And being supported by Cinnamon. Always nice to see this kind of team play. If you have your ACU at the front with the ACU of another teammate and the other teammate is going for gun, or any upgrade for that matter, and you can actually afford it, it's always a nice thing to support the upgrades. It's a good thing to do because that will allow them to get into the action faster and utilize that earlier. And Colonel Corby actually going for advanced range, getting that superior range number. Dusky in the meantime going for nano, and looking at the HP pool I can definitely see why. They did go quite low when dealing with those units from Colonel Quabby. Region Aura now going up for a Buckathon. I guess they somewhat grew fond of that strategy, as we have already seen that a few times from them now, in the more recent times that they have been casted. But, I mean, I can see why it is a interesting, probably a bit unconventional, but I'd say still very effective strategy. As it does still provide a lot of support for your ACU. Now Freedom just pushing very aggressively with that commander and also some spam right here, and well, I honestly don't really agree with the retreat that Lamont is pulling right now, because I think they could probably take out the spam for Freedom in this case. I think they have the numbers for that. However, Freedom just dropping a bunch of Suis behind enemy lines. And those two have the potential to just take out at least one max. Though there is T2PD in the area that will most likely take those out very quickly. But by the looks of it, not quickly enough, as those are either not scouted or not in range of the PD. And with that T2 max will actually go down for a very, very cheap investment. Lamont now getting a nano upgrade. Gun about to finish for Cinnamon. And Nano has been finished by Dusky. They did just go for gun as well. Meaning that ACU is quite the power to be reckoned with. As it's going to be a lot harder to kill and also a lot more deadly when utilized. Now, by the looks of it, Hyper did transport their ACU into to the front line of Wackathon. They do have gun and nano, so that will most likely be a very, very nice commander to have at the front line, being a lot more tanky. Well, somewhat comparable to the ACU of Wackathon in both tankiness and firepower, though not providing any buffs for their teammate in the form of the region aura that Wackathon has, but I don't think that's too bad. That ACU is still very powerful. Now, how's the game looking? A T3 Air out for Citrus. How's it looking for Hyper? They do have T3 Air, they are slightly behind. Not too far, but, well, slightly can already be a big deal. Modular did just get T2 as well. And gun speed. Not too sure which one was. Okay, they did go T2 first and then gun speed. Good to know. Salman going for Nano now as well. Wanting to get a chunky frontline commander. I can definitely respect that, as I am a big fan of aggressive cyclone commanders. And drop onto the plateau out from Lamart now. Those are a bunch of Suis, no engineers, meaning that there will be a second drop needed to take that, and Citrus disconnects by the looks of it. As we do get the control key message, but the ACU remains there for a few more game ticks. And there's the full share. Cement says that they can take the base. So I expect some connection issues. But I want to point out, I, as per always, check my replays beforehand to see if they are interesting, and the game will still go on for quite some time, and I wouldn't say that this in any way actually decided how this game goes. Big important thing to point out, Cement is the highest rate player in this game with 1900. They will most likely have the APM to go around and utilize that as well. And with that, they might even be able to utilize that airbase better than Citrus. Or at least just as well. And since that ACU wasn't at the ACU for Citrus was not a frontline anyway, that's also not too bad to lose. The only annoying part would be the build power that died due to the com explosion. But as we can see, there's a bunch more build power already in the area for cement, so don't think that data is too bad either. We will continue. And there are a bunch of trainings out for cement. And I think this is probably played on proper full share due to the... wait, no, cement has their own air factory, right? Yes, okay, they did build that with their own air factories. I was about to say that that could have not been built in the short period of time they had the airbase, meaning that there is probably full share, but saying that now, not too sure if there's actually full share in this game. Can just look for a moment, and we are looking at the partial share conditions, so combat units will not be gifted over. Sandman currently engaging the ASU for Lemart. Both ASUs very comparable in their HP pool and regen, as both have nano and gun, so also very comparable DPS. Basically, these ASUs are evenly matched. Well, never mind, same HP pool, but the Cypern ASU gets 8 more regen, meaning that technically the Cypern ASU would win this engagement, if there wasn't any army and stuff like that to worry about. Freedom did go Region Aura and has already started the Advanced Region Aura, which is, unsurprisingly, even more powerful than the basic one. Having a higher range, higher cap, more HP for the units, and also pretty sure that the percentage of HP regen that does provide is higher. Generally, just more powerful. Lot of triads split up by cement in this area up here, and those do currently provide a bit of a problem for Wackerfall, but they managed to pull back and just pick a few of those off with the ACU. Nothing too impressive right there right now. Small run by attempt up here, but that seems to be taken out. And Lemart maybe trying a pushback. Utilizing MLs up here to take out some fire-based constructs that were built up by Freedom. They definitely need to get some TMD into this general area, because that ACU would be easy to snipe if there were any static tactical missile launchers in the area. Though, I mean, considering the fact that they are 1800, I suspect that they have proper scouting and would most likely just be prepared for something like that. And yeah, there is proper scouting, so maybe not that big of a deal, but still. Those MLs are just gonna take out these PDs very, very effectively, and they also do a lot of damage to an ACU. Now, Nano now going up for Freedom. Sandman continuing to be in use as Swift Commander, pushing Lemart back once again, and also having a bunch of bricks to support. In the middle, push attempted by Dusky, however there is a bunch of Januses now being utilized by Cement to defend their ally. That would be the Colonel Bobby, who does have some obsidians against the pillars of Dusky. Let's see, how is General Land Tech looking? Currently T3 land on the way for Dusky. We have T3 land out for Freedom. At 18 minutes, that should not be a surprise. T3 land out for Sandman. Even though I didn't point it out, I did notice the bricks in their push earlier, and looking at their front line right now, that could be a big issue for Lemart, who definitely does have T2, not too sure how T3 is looking for them. Bunch of trainers try to go after the ACU of Freedom, who did take a lot of damage down into the red, but currently still alive. Another sheet going up, and there's a lot of mobile flag. bunch of firebombs still land. That ACU is still standing in the fire for a bit of time, but Flag takes out the Janus, meaning that Freedom does survive for now. ACU for Lamart being very bold, down into the yellow, tangling with that ACU for Sandman. But all the bricks did end up dying to maybe PD, maybe overcharges, not too sure, didn't pay attention. Was looking at other stuff. What I did want to look at were tags. Tag 3 currently underway for Lamont. Currently only Tag 2 out for Colonel with no intention to upgrading. And Tag 3 on already established for Cement. And Tag 3 also out for Modular. We also currently only have... okay, we have Tag 3 on the way for Wagfell as well. So, looking at everything... Key 2 to Tag 3 stage, of course. We are coming close to 20 minutes, so once again, shouldn't be too surprising. Would be weird if everyone was still stuck at T1 at this stage of the game. And, I mean, there are certainly cases where at 20 minutes you still see T1 units being spammed out, but reasoning behind that is generally just that the game is decided at 10 minutes or so, and no one needs to bother doing anything more now. Strat out for Hyper, which is going after the ACU for Lamart on its first pass, but... never mind, it's turning back around, getting... no, just pulling out. Okay. But that might be a sign of things to come with Hyper having that Strat Bomber. Advanced range now going up for Modular. Switching out the T2 upgrade for the range upgrades and having shield on that ACU as well. Bunch of MLs and trials up here being utilized to... Right, those are spearheads instead of flapjacks. So that's where the volume of fire comes from. The T3 mobile missile launcher that only the UF gets access to, with a very fancy reload animation if you just saw that. And a bank of 3 missiles. But yeah, very fancy reload animation. Definitely like that detail. Ah, come on, I just, looking at that, I just completely missed that Lamart died to, I guess, being walked down by Sunderman's ACU. Horribly sorry about that. You know how it is, casters missing stuff, especially comm kills. A tale as old as time. A few bombers, a few Januses were trying to be utilized against that commander, but there was proper AA in the area, meaning that did not succeed. Scout wave in the area, so they are aware of everything coming, and would you look at that, a fat boy coming out from cement. You could say they are cementing their position in this game. Not sorry for that one. It will definitely happen again. You know the rules, bad jokes have to come out. Bad jokes are a must. Bunch of... never mind, I was about to say bunch of bricks airdropped to the front line. But instead, being airdropped to the flank of Wagfell. Maybe because Sandman thinks that they are needed more on that side. Also that base now, of course the base of Lamart being gifted over to Cement as they are the highest rated player. And Sandman, very, very dangerous play. Going after the fire base with the, just with the ACU. There's a lot of PD in there, and down below 1k HP. One more salvo and that ACU does go down, but never mind, it does end up surviving. That was a ballsy play. That was a very, very ballsy play. I do not recommend doing that. Do not try this at home. I mean, to be fair, you shouldn't be playing around with like 30-meter tall death robots at home, but especially not just running into a reinforced line with those. That's not worth it. That could have almost gone very poorly, and would you look at that, I missed another com kill. By the looks of it, Modulal was pushing in very aggressively into the position of Buckethel, who ended up killing off that ACU with possibly a combination of just Ishwas and that gun ACU. That is what I would expect to have happened. But with that, we are looking at a 2v5. Cement now playing all positions with the exception of the middle one currently under control from the Colonel. And honestly, doing quite well considering that. The big important thing at this stage, of course, would be to tie up as many APM of your opponent with easy plays like drops, stuff like that. Because you need to keep your opponents distracted to and keep the APM game basically equal in the terms of spare APM by keeping your opponent busy, because even a player this high rated is most likely going to fall behind now at this point playing against an entire team. Because you need to be aware of everything going on the entire map, and that is very hard. Advanced Nano now started for Freedom, so probably more aggression from that commander as the game continues. Laser now going out for Hypo, so I expect that Nano will soon be switched out for Tally as soon as that finishes. And the Fat Boy has reached the front line in the middle and is firing into the spam of Dusky, taking out these Percivals. Also, very nice to see that Cement's teammate Colonel Corby is doing the correct thing when their teammate does have the Fat Boy, and is covering it with their own land units. As the Fat Boy does struggle in a 1-to-1 fight, you want to have a escorting army or just have it in the back where it's unlikely to be hit, and the collection of obsidians and harveys and stuff like that. The general army that is out here for Corby just also tanking the damage and providing a lot of shorter range DPS is definitely what is needed to deal with the army that was pushing in from Dusky and successfully defend that Fat Boy. And that was actually a successful play. Very nice team play. Very good to see. Even with that 1k rating gap between the two players. Now, bunch of spearheads still up here, bring in a bit of damage into these units that Xenoman moved up here. But since those are on the move, they aren't going to hit anything, realistically. A bunch of MLs right here for Wakuthor currently just firing into the firebase for Cement right here, which does have a volcano, which is really, really good at dealing with with missiles, as it just distracts them. And it can distract multiple units, and Freedom currently being pushed by a large group of Ushivas and also a big cloud of broadswords. That ACU does have advanced nano, but how's the A looking in the area, because that's a lot of broadswords. And that ACU is still shedding a lot of HP even with that advanced nano. Well, the Ushivas are going down, and so are most of these broadswords, as for some reason Cement pulled these ASF back a bit, giving Hyper a bit of an opening to take out the broadswords. I guess Cement just giving up on the air fight. Freedom below 5k, below 4k, and below 2k. But there goes last of the broadswords. However, at a steep cost, as it did cost Hyper basically all of their ASF. Freedom quickly regenerating with that ACU due to double nano and still using it very aggressively at the front line. Keeping up the HP buff and regen buff on the Southams, allowing them to trade quite well and also get to full HP very fast looking at this. And that ACU should be about to get back into the yellow any moment now. I think around 10k, well, maybe 11k, something like that. I think below a quarter HP means that you go into the red, so yeah, already back into the yellow now. Chicken now pushing out for freedom as well, and that's 80k HP without veterancy just due to that regen aura. So you can see why I was pointing out earlier that that is very, very powerful. Also 260 regen. That is a lot. So yeah, you want to keep that ACU in the area to just provide HP and provide a lot of regen for this chicken. And the Fat Boy did move to this flank now to provide some fire support. Chicken taking a lot of fire, but definitely being able to utilize regen by the looks of it. As that is, I think, 13k additional HP, which is quite a bit. Might not seem like much for an experimental, but I mean, every bit of HP counts for stuff like that. But yeah, that moves outside of the regen aura range. And there it goes. A lot faster. But the Lightning Storm did end up dropping in this firebase, meaning that a lot of the stuff right here will go down. Or at least take heavy damage. And there is even some stationary T2 RT that might actually go down to this now. Or not because, well, never mind, it does go down, yep. Another airfight ensuing between Cement and Hyper. This one seems to be going in favor of Cement again. So they seem to be winning on all fronts at this moment. Also forcing back Wackerthal, who does have advanced nano and advanced regen aura as well, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that is advanced regen aura. But taking a lot of fire from these possibles. Still forced back a bit. Tele started for Hyper, so we will see a Tele snipe very soon, I guess. And Freedom going for back at basically full HP now, going back into combat. Now with that tally up, let's see, is there any fancy plays currently going out? We do see a nuke launcher currently under construction for Cement. Or just started. GC out for Colonel Quabi, sorry. And I'm pretty sure there was no tele defense at all. No. Not at all. Well, never mind, Cement is currently going for triads, so we will have tele defense in that area. Freedom finishes another experimental. It's a bunch of chickens by the looks of it. Yep. And how is Reclaim looking at this stage? I'm very curious. 160k Reclaim on this map right now. And there was a chicken out for Wackerthal that did go down to this GC. Wackerthal about to do a very ballsy thing, moving that ACU in around that, actually towards that GC. I expect to maybe get an overcharge in. But there's also another chicken coming in that will help defend. ACU immediately put onto the put to move back. And that ACU tanking a lot of damage, just due to all that regen and HP. Looking at how long it can actually hold out against the GC. Meaning that GC did take a lot of damage without any firing back again when fighting that chicken. Now another big push here. And yeah. Big HP pools just do big HP pool things. Those chickens very tanky. And Freedom is still staying in the area, of course, to provide that additional HP and regen. Making these very, very powerful units. A bunch of bricks get airdropped in by Cinnamon with T1 transports, meaning that they only have one open slot. Or a transport slot for T3 units, and a whole bunch of broadswords come in. They are now targeting down the AC of Freedom, never mind. Going after Orphans instead. But they decide to pull back due to the ASF Hyper arriving, which might still go down to another airfight against Cement though. But gunships move back in. Never mind, Flag does destroy them once again. And with that, no airstrike. And these chickens are also well on their way to get back to full health due to that regen. Teleporter is about to finish for Hyper. And Strat Bombers are building up again. Another GC out for Cement on this flank, another one already under construction. Right, yeah, and if you are zoomed out too far, then one arm of the GC glitches out and just is shown way out for some reason. Don't know why, it's just a thing that happens. Now, nice to see Cement reclaiming, though at this rating you would expect the players to reclaim, as that is a very integral part of the game. Keep your stuff up. And there are now 4 chickens pushing in. That is going to be very, very hard to counter. There are still a bunch of gunships in the area, but I'm pretty sure there's now also a bunch of flak and lightning tanks in the area to defend that ACU. As Freedom is aware, of course, how dangerous it is to push in with the ACU like that. Because that is super dangerous. And big wave of strats. In the ASF, 4 Cement are currently in the area, but they are moving out. They do see this ASF cloud, so I expect they are trying. They might be going for an ASF fight or baited out a bit by Hyper having their stuff there, but that does distract, meaning that those strats do go in, take out the ACU of Cement. At the same time, Hyper does go in. Strat Snipe on Cement does actually fail. And there's a bunch of Harveys and even now also Tele Defense and stuff in there that does take out Hyper, though not before those bombs did actually drop. Or the strats did get a second pass. Big thing right here, of course, this was played on partial share, meaning that the moment Hyper stuff was gifted over, those bombers would have died, and if those bombers would have been just a bit later, they would probably not have gotten off a second pass. Meaning that the kill on Cement would not have worked. But yeah, did play out quite similar to the last cast that went up on Monday, if I didn't mess up. At least in the end. The ending was quite similar, to be honest. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. There will be more, if you did, leave a like. There will be more casts like this, so if you want to be notified when those do come out, you can always subscribe. The Swan streamed live on Twitch, link to that will be, as per always, in the description. And the game was played and also casted on the FAF version of the game. So link to that will be in the description as well. But yeah, or in the FAF client. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you again in the future cast or stream. Until then, bye.